Yo guys, welcome back to another League Racing video on the channel. Today we are here with UFRL round number 6 here at Albert Park in Australia. One of my better tracks on the calendar. So after last week's round, which we did manage to have a really good race, I'm trying to keep the momentum going. We were last on the grid, we had to start last serving a qualifying ban, and we managed to finish P3, which it's incredible considering we were starting from the back of the grid. So if you do want to go see that, I would recommend checking it out. But we are starting our lap, and you see Young Lights up ahead, messes up his first corner and goes off. He is in provisional P1, and I'm not sure if he's set a lap on the dry tyres, because the start of this session it was actually intermediates, as you can tell by the amount of time we're gaining on the Delta. I wasn't actually just driving that slow, it was actually raining, which does explain a lot, because you can see we're 4 seconds up. We're absolutely flying. We went purple in the first sector, and we are 15th after the inters lap. It wasn't very good, and a lot of people were going out with around 5 minutes left, so they got their last lap in on a lesser track than we're going to be on. We don't set a fastest middle sector, but it is alright. It's not gone too badly for us, and we do have the best of the track conditions. We are the last driver to have started our lap, braking as late as we can, trying to get on the power. We go a little bit deep, but it shouldn't be enough to make it a bad lap. Hazer goes to P1 with a 15.9, and I'm not sure what we're on for, but we are trying our hardest. We're going to burn the rest of our battery up to the line. Will we be able to snatch away pole from Hazer? Which we do, just about by a tenth. Managed to snatch away pole at the last possible second, and after having a qualifying ban in last round, we are now on pole position. We've completely flipped from last on the grid to first on the grid, which is incredible. Myself and Hazer around 4 tenths quicker than P3, which was Young Lights. He was one of the drivers that went out when the track hadn't evolved as much as it did when I went out, so that's probably where we gained a lot of our time. We are going to be going for a medium hard strategy. We leave it till the last minute to check, just to play some mind games with the cars around us. But it is 5 red lights, and away we go. The lights don't hold us long at all. Catches me a little bit off guard, but we managed to get a better getaway than Hazer. And Young Lights on the harder compounder tyre is going side by side with Hazer through turns 1 and 2. But they do manage to get through cleanly, which is a bit unfortunate. I wouldn't mind seeing any of them crash. But up into turn 3, we have our lead, and we're just going to be trying to hold it. We're going to burn our battery whenever we get to the longer straights, just to hold on. And we've already gained 1.3 seconds on Young Light, so he's about to fall out of the DRS of Hazer, which would be massive for both of our races. But I am a little bit behind in the championship right now, so I really need some other drivers to get up to the top and challenge myself and Hazer, as long as I come out on top, you know, because we don't want to be not coming first. But right now, Lights is actually out of the DRS. Like he's on the harder tires. I don't really think that was a very big surprise. But he is 1.2 seconds behind Hazer as of right now. So it's been a good first lap for us. We've managed to hold on to P1. We haven't really looked like we were being challenged by Hazer, at least not yet, as we're 7 tenths ahead. But I do just feel really confident at the minute. The tires are working nicely, at least for the first lap. But we cut ahead to lap 5 because absolutely nothing happened. But if you look in the top left, Young Lights has been overtaken by Sniper Sai, but the gap between P2 and P3 is 4 seconds, meaning that me and Hazer, should there not be a safety car, we are just going to be in a fight for P1 and P2, just the two of us, as we do let Hazer get past because he had the DRS and the extra battery. We're just going to save up, and we're not going to lose too much time by letting him go. So really no harm in letting that move happen, even though he is the championship rival for this season. Cutting into the next lap, we're going to be lining up a move as we've got 93% battery, going on to the long back straight of the double detection DRS as well. But so that means now that we get DRS now on the next straight after the fast left right S's, then we will also still keep the DRS no matter how early we overtook him onto this straight, which is I do quite like that for this track, because it means that this next corner isn't really an overtaking opportunity if you overtake someone on the straight beforehand. But cutting ahead to lap 7, same thing's probably going to be happening. We're going to just allow Hazer to get through because he's going to have too much overspeed. You can see the arrow getting closer. He's just gaining and gaining and gaining, and there's really no point fighting any of it. So we're just going to let him by, and he will also keep the DRS onto the next straight, meaning that we are not able to do anything. Seeing a bit of a pattern here, cutting onto the next lap. It's looking like we're going to overtake Hazer once again. We don't even have to use much battery. We use like maybe 10-15% just to make sure the move's done. But you can see in the top left, the gap between P2 and P3 is nearing 5 seconds right now. It's nearing 5 seconds to us in P1 at least. Yeah, it's about 5 seconds. Not sure what's happening with Lights, but he is struggling a lot. It's nearly 6 seconds now, actually. 8, well, look, cutting ahead 3 more laps, 8 seconds now. And Lights is nowhere to be seen, but there is now a safety car deployed, which instantly cuts out all our work. And it kind of makes the strategy a little bit boring because everyone on the medium tyres is just going to box now and go to the end. It is around that lap where you are able to do that, which is a bit unfortunate for us, but it's also not unfortunate because we just get free pit stop and we get to keep our P1, as Lights is not going to get out ahead of us. It is kind of close, but he doesn't even get ahead of Hazer, which would have been nice. We would have really liked him to have gotten ahead of Hazer in the pit stops because he was on the harder tyres. It didn't make sense for him to box. But I'm not sure where he's went, but he might have actually boxed on this lap. I'm not really sure why, but it does seem like he might have boxed as he's not in the top 5 anymore. You obviously can't overtake under a safety car, so maybe he thought to just try and get onto the mediums and risk it to the end. But we do try and catch Hazer off guard, which we do a little bit. We managed to at least fend off the attacks into turn 1, but we just need to get the lap times and nail the corners, but we don't. We nearly lose the back end, nearly spinning us out, which is forcing us to use a lot more battery than we really need to. We're going to defend the inside line. He looks for the move, but he does decide to back out, as it would have been too tight of an angle. He's done well there to choose to battle, and I appreciate him not actually sending that. But my little mistake in the exit of turn 1 has kind of cost me, because now he is really close to us, and we're going to be using some more battery to try and fend off. But luckily for this lap, he does not have the DRS, the drag reduction system, but he is going to get pretty close. We're going to use a little bit to make sure that at the end of the straight he doesn't overtake us, but we're going to be all under threat out of the exit of this corner. He's got a slightly better exit. He's really close. He's right on our back right now, using the ERS again, but we're down to like 25% now, which isn't ideal, but we do manage to fend off the attacks, and we do manage for the time being to hold on to P1 after an abrupt safety car kind of threw a spanner into the works. But cutting ahead, I think 5 laps onto lap 18, the top 3 of myself, Hazer and Lynx, all the 3 championship protagonists, are now massively ahead of P4 and 5. Hazer's getting really close to us right now because my brake had a little flicker, but luckily, or unluckily, depending how I want to look at it, there's another safety car, which this is not common for this league, at least this season. And we are going to make a choice to box for a fresh set of medium tyres to finish the remaining 10 or so laps. We box for the mediums, and a lot of other people box. If you look in the bottom left, absolutely everyone is boxed. There's only 2 drivers that haven't boxed, and one of them is Hazer. Hazer has decided not to box, and now we're right behind him in P2 on fresh mediums, and he's on old hards, which is going to put him massively on the back foot for the last 9 or so laps of this race. Our tyres are pretty cold. He does try and get a jump on us, but he has a little bit of a squirmy exit, and you can already see that we are right behind him, and we're going to try and use that extra grip through the first corners to mount an attack, possibly into turn 3. We've got so much more grip, and he disconnects. I have a little bit of lag, so he does drop back on my screen, but he actually didn't drop back, which threw me off a lot. Like, it did lose me a lot of time. And you can see we're going for a late move. We're going side by side through turn 4, but we have a massive snap, and we lose out to Lynx going for a risky move. And if we just managed to keep it in the same direction, we would still be in P2. This is slightly annoying, it's slightly frustrating. I didn't think too much of it at the time because you can see how much speed we've got. Lynx is going for late moves, nearly put in the wall but by Hazer, but we're also going to go for it and then go for it on Lynx, going for a double move into the S's, going side by side with the McLaren driver. And on the exit, we just kind of let him go through, we let him stay ahead. We're on 10% battery and we're being attacked. We're nearly going 3 wide. Merckx is on our outside, he's now getting involved, as Hazer's tyres are not grippy right now. But we're going side by side with Merckx. And then through one of the final corners, we nearly lose it on the curb. And we leave Merckx the space, even though he did back out. I wasn't too sure if he properly went for that move or not. But as of right now, we've managed to get into P2, but we also dropped the position that we didn't want to. So really, it would have been nice if we were in P1 at this point. But a little mistake, it happens, but it's alright. We're setting the fastest first sector at the minute. As we're going to try and make a move on Lynx, we now have the DRS. And I was going to try and go for it without the ERS. But I actually didn't go for the move because my DRS turned off. I'm not actually sure if that was on purpose or not, to not make the overtake. I'm not sure. No, I'm turning it off again. That is actually me. I'm trying to stay behind right now. I'm not too sure why. It's a bit weird looking back on it. Not too sure what I was doing. But going on to the end of lap 22, I'm going to start 23. We're still right on the back of Lynx. We probably could have went for the move in both the DRS zones on the previous lap. And even now we're not using the DRS because making a move into turn 1 is incredibly difficult and risky. And we don't manage, we get wing damage. Lynx brakes at the normal spot. But we ran into him, we misjudged where he was going to brake. We are going 3 wide into turn 3. Merckx trying to make a move up the inside, and Hazer was looking at it, but he did not think that was a smart place to go for a move, which it wasn't. So I appreciate him not making it 3 wide. But now we've got very slight wing damage, which is already having an effect. I can feel it. I've got slight understeer going through every corner. We're nearly a second behind Lynx now, but now we managed to keep the DRS. So that is lucky. That is crucial now for this last stint, because I was having the pace, but now I'm going to be struggling to even get P1 with this slight wing damage, but it makes all the difference when the racing is this high level. But not able to make the move, but we managed to stick with Lynx, at least for the time being. Cutting ahead to lap 24, you can see we are still within the 1 second. We're able to get the DRS. We're using our ERS very early, before the DRS, and we're already making a move. Turning it off, but trying to get the move done. We use it a little bit at the end just to make sure we get back onto the racing line. Merckx also fancied a chance and a look on either myself or Lynx, but he did have to back out. It would have been too risky to have went for the move. But we now cut ahead 5 or so laps onto the penultimate lap of the race, and at the minute Hazer is somehow still behind us. He's on the oldest tyres by a long shot. He should not be with us at the minute, but he's managed to make the moves where it counts, and he is in with a shot to win this race. And we need to let him go. We cannot be on the final lap in P1, else we will have no chance to win this race, because the DRS and the slipstream is way too powerful. So we're trying to use very little battery. We're on 100%. We need it all. And we're trying to let Hazer go. We're just pulling to the inside, lifting off ever so slightly to try and coax him into a move. But he doesn't go for it, which is really bad for us. At the minute, I am kind of panicking because this win looked so easy, at least between me and Hazer. It looked like an easy win. The first safety car threw a spanner in. We lose the back end. That was not on purpose. But now Hazer is actually really close, so I'm trying to get him to make a move again. But I don't know, he is using the DRS, but so we kind of lift off. We brake a little bit early, but he doesn't go for the move into turn 1. And this is leaving us in a very vulnerable position. But luckily, I see Lynx is pushing Hazer massively, so I put my ERS into none, and I let him go for the move, and we try and sit behind. We manage to get in behind. Lynx backs off, but Lynx forced Hazer into a move on me to defend his position, which is massive for us. This has worked out incredibly well, and we're going to be using all our battery on these next 2 straights, because we now have the DRS advantage, and Hazer will be a sitting duck. It is just more of a chance, or it is just more of if Lynx can do anything. Hazer's lagging again. My internet's not working right now. But we make the move up the inside. We don't get the racing line, but we make the move into the S section, and he is right behind us. He got a much better exit out of the second S's, but he's not got any DRS. We're using the ERS, we're defending the inside line, and we look like we've kept the position. There is going to be one more overtaking opportunity, as that's if he sends it into turn 13, but he's not close enough to do so. That was the last overtaking opportunity, and even with the wing damage and the safety cars and the little panic I had towards the end, we will win this race.
Man. Oh my god.
Getting the pole position and the win after an even better round last time in Austria, starting from the back and finishing P3. We are definitely have the momentum in our hands. Young Lights actually didn't finish. I didn't catch that happen. But that was just one less driver to fight for the win. But we do manage to pick up P1. Hayes, unfortunately, for us anyway, he still got P2, meaning that we only gained about 7 points, I think. Maybe 8, because of the pole position point as well, but we barely gained anything. So it doesn't work. It's not well for the championship. But either way, if you did enjoy this video, remember to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next week for Japan. And yeah, the championship's getting pretty close. We are gaining back what we missed earlier in the season. But yeah, see ya.